The global fashion world is once again turning its spotlight toward Jimin, after the BTS member was widely hailed as a style icon following the release of his monumental 30-page editorial in Vogue Korea. The editorial, featured in the magazine's February 2026 issue, has quickly become one of the most talked-about fashion moments of the year, not only in South Korea, but across international fashion circles. From the moment the covers were unveiled, Jimin's presence commanded attention. Vogue Korea released multiple cover versions for the issue, each presenting a different side of the artist, soft yet powerful, elegant yet daring. The editorial spread itself unfolds like a visual narrative, capturing Jimin in a series of carefully curated moods and silhouettes that blur the line between fashion, performance, and fine art. Industry observers note that dedicating 30 full pages to a single figure is a rare honor, underscoring Jimin's extraordinary influence beyond music. Throughout the editorial, Jimin showcases a wide range of high-fashion looks, many of which highlight his long-standing partnership with luxury house Dior. Flowing fabrics, sharp tailoring, and experimental styling come together to emphasize his signature ability to balance masculinity and femininity with effortless grace. Fashion critics praised how Jimin does not merely wear the clothes, but transforms them, using posture, expression, and movement to give each look its own emotional depth. Social media reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Photos from the editorial trended globally within hours of release, with fans, stylists, and fashion editors alike praising Jimin's timeless beauty and editorial intelligence. Many noted that his influence extends beyond aesthetics. His approach to fashion feels personal and intentional, reflecting confidence, vulnerability, and artistic maturity. This response further fueled the growing consensus that Jimin is no longer just a pop star featured in fashion, but a genuine style authority shaping contemporary trends. What sets this editorial apart is its storytelling quality. Rather than relying on shock value or excess, the spread focuses on subtle emotions, refined composition, and expressive detail. Vogue Korea's creative team reportedly designed the shoot to reflect Jimin's evolution as an artist, someone who continues to redefine himself while remaining deeply connected to his identity. The result is a body of work that resonates not only with fans of BTS, but also with readers who appreciate fashion as a form of self-expression. As conversations around the editorial continue, fashion insiders suggest that this moment may mark a new peak in Jimin's cultural impact. Being labeled a style icon is not simply about wearing luxury brands. It is about setting a standard, inspiring interpretation, and influencing how fashion is perceived and consumed. With this historic Vogue Korea feature, Jimin has once again proven that his artistry transcends stages and charts, firmly positioning him as one of the defining style figures of his generation. Beyond the immediate buzz, Jimin's Vogue Korea editorial has sparked deeper conversations within the fashion industry about the evolving relationship between idols and high fashion. Editors and stylists have pointed out that Jimin represents a new generation of global tastemakers, artists who are not confined by traditional gender norms or regional fashion boundaries. His ability to move seamlessly between soft, romantic visuals and bold, avant-garde styling has been cited as a key reason why fashion houses continue to view him as both a muse and a cultural bridge. Several fashion commentators also highlighted how the editorial reflects a broader shift in luxury fashion's creative direction. Rather than focusing solely on excess or shock-driven visuals, the spread emphasizes emotion, restraint, and individuality. Jimin's expressive gaze and controlled movements give each photograph a sense of narrative continuity, making the 30-page feature feel less like a photo shoot and more like a visual essay. This approach aligns with Vogue Korea's recent emphasis on storytelling, positioning the magazine as a leader in editorial innovation within Asia's fashion media landscape. The impact of the editorial has also been felt commercially. Reports of sold-out issues and heightened demand for items similar to those worn by Jimin quickly circulated online, reinforcing his reputation for driving consumer trends. Fashion analysts noted that pieces resembling the silhouettes and color palettes featured in the shoot began appearing in curated collections and social media styling guides shortly after the release. This phenomenon once again demonstrated Jimin's ability to translate editorial fashion into real-world influence. For longtime fans, the Vogue Korea feature carries emotional significance as well. Many see the editorial as a reflection of Jimin's personal growth, an artist who has matured in confidence and self-awareness while continuing to challenge expectations. Online discussions praised how the photos capture both vulnerability and strength, qualities that fans feel have always defined Jimin's artistry, but are now being fully recognized by the fashion establishment. As the fashion world looks ahead to the rest of 2026, speculation continues about what this milestone could mean for Jimin's future collaborations. Industry insiders suggest that the Vogue Korea editorial may open the door to even more ambitious global projects, including expanded creative roles or deeper involvement in fashion campaigns beyond traditional ambassador appearances. While no official announcements have been made, the scale and reception of this feature have undeniably raised expectations. Ultimately, Jimin's 30-page Vogue Korea editorial stands as more than a visual triumph. It is a statement of cultural relevance. By merging fashion, emotion, and identity, Jimin has reinforced his status as a modern style icon whose influence extends far beyond clothing. In an era where authenticity and individuality are increasingly valued, this moment cements his position at the forefront of both music and fashion, leaving a lasting imprint on the industry and setting a new benchmark for future collaborations between idols and high fashion.
The significance of this editorial also lies in how it reshapes long-standing perceptions of what defines influence in fashion. Traditionally, style icons were measured by longevity within the industry or consistent dominance on runways and red carpets. Jimin's case illustrates a more modern reality, where emotional resonance, cultural reach, and authenticity are just as important as visual impact. His Vogue Korea feature resonates because it feels personal rather than performative, carefully curated yet deeply human. Fashion academics have pointed out that Jimin's appeal challenges the Western-centric definition of fashion leadership. The editorial's global reception highlights how Asian artists are no longer peripheral figures in luxury fashion, but central voices shaping its direction. Jimin's presence in a 30-page spread symbolizes a growing recognition of Asian creativity, aesthetics, and storytelling within the global fashion canon. For many readers, this moment represents progress toward a more inclusive and diversified fashion narrative. Another notable aspect is how the editorial aligns with Jimin's broader artistic identity. Known for expressing emotion through music and dance, he brings that same sensitivity into the visual language of fashion. Each photograph feels intentional, as if capturing a pause between movements on stage. This continuity across art forms reinforces the idea that Jimin's influence is not fragmented. His music, performance, and fashion choices exist as parts of a single, evolving artistic vision. The editorial has also inspired discussions about the future of idol-led fashion editorials. Industry insiders believe this feature may set a new standard, encouraging magazines to invest more deeply in concept-driven, long-form storytelling rather than relying solely on celebrity appeal. By proving that audiences are willing to engage with extensive, thoughtful content centered on a single figure, Jimin's Vogue Korea spread may influence how future collaborations are structured. As weeks pass and the initial excitement settles, the editorial continues to circulate as a reference point in fashion conversations, shared in design classrooms, discussed in online forums, and cited by stylists as an example of modern editorial excellence. Its longevity speaks to its impact. Rather than fading after a viral moment, it continues to inspire reinterpretation and dialogue. In the end, Jimin being labeled a style icon is not merely a reaction to striking images or luxury outfits. It is a recognition of his ability to communicate identity, emotion, and cultural relevance through fashion. The Vogue Korea editorial stands as a defining chapter in his career, one that captures an artist fully aware of his influence and unafraid to explore it with depth and sincerity. Looking ahead, many observers believe this editorial will be remembered as a cultural timestamp rather than a fleeting trend. In an industry that moves rapidly and often discards yesterday's icons, Jimin's Vogue Korea feature feels intentionally timeless. The muted tones, deliberate pacing, and absence of overstyling suggest a conscious effort to create images that will remain relevant long after seasonal trends shift. This timeless quality is precisely what separates momentary fashion stars from enduring style icons. There is also growing recognition of how carefully Jimin curates his public image. Rather than oversaturating the fashion space, his appearances remain selective and meaningful. This restraint has strengthened his impact, making each collaboration feel like an event rather than routine promotion. Fashion insiders argue that this strategic approach mirrors the practices of legendary figures who understood that true influence is built through consistency of vision, not constant visibility. The editorial has also contributed to ongoing discussions about masculinity in fashion. Jimin's styling embraces softness, elegance, and emotional openness without sacrificing confidence or presence. In doing so, it challenges outdated stereotypes and offers an alternative vision of modern masculinity, one that resonates strongly with younger generations. Many readers have praised the shoot for normalizing fluid expression and encouraging self-acceptance through personal style. From a cultural perspective, the response to the editorial underscores the growing power of global fandoms in shaping fashion narratives. Fans did not simply consume the images, they analyzed them, shared interpretations, and connected the visuals to Jimin's artistic journey. This level of engagement transformed the editorial into a collective experience, amplifying its reach and solidifying its place in pop culture discourse. As conversations continue across fashion media, academic spaces, and online communities, one conclusion becomes increasingly clear. This moment represents a convergence of art, identity, and influence. Jimin's Vogue Korea editorial did more than showcase clothing. It communicated a philosophy of expression rooted in emotion, individuality, and cultural confidence. In the broader scope of his career, this chapter reinforces Jimin's position as an artist who consistently transcends categories. Music, performance, and fashion are not separate paths for him, but interconnected forms of storytelling. With this historic editorial, he has not only earned the title of style icon, but also redefined what that title means in a global, evolving fashion landscape.